Black Light once again, Cyberspace Ministry, talking about how to defeat the beast, but yet still we haven't got to the most important aspect on how to defeat the beast. The main thing you got to have is resistance, and you got to resist the devil and he will flee. I know you heard of that. You got to have that. You got to have an intolerance to hypocrisy. You know, the messenger said that a brother or sister could turn hypocrite overnight. You know, and that's true. See, we don't know how to use the scriptures. The average black man, black woman don't know how to use the scriptures, and they don't know how to use the Quran. You know, so when they look at the scriptures and read about Jesus, they just talk about, mainly blessings or miracles. You know, when they say Jesus raised the dead, he rose from the dead, and they take it literally. Uh, so, it's a lot of symbolic talk in there, in both books. So, in one book, the book of, what is that? It's the New Testament, but I can't call it right off the top of my head. But Jesus is talking about the rich young man wanting to join up with him. Jesus said, "Go and sell all your goods, all your possessions, and give it to the poor." And the young man said, eventually, come out saying, "Well, I can't do that," And he called Jesus good. He said, "Good master." Jesus said, "There's none good but the Father." And it's dealing with material things, For so long, as slaves, or so-called slaves here, but really we were prisoners of war and were denied the knowledge of anything. We just sit back in the cotton fields or wherever we was at the big plantation house, and seeing how some of them house Negroes was living, and how the master was living, and we always wanted to live like that. See, United States, they got a class system, a caste system, just like India had a caste system, but United States call it a class. We still got it today. And, so they have gotten to the point, black people have gotten to the point after so long thinking that the only thing that separates them from being a legitimate U.S. of A citizen was the type of money they made, So the enemy, the beast, he foreseen this, he seen this coming, that one day he's going to have to pay you money, and you're going to have to pay you wages, but he gonna get it all back. And let me tell you about, while I'm thinking about it, let me tell you about my uncle. Not the one that was FOI, but the hustler. My uncle was a hustler. I had three uncles, and all of them was something else, but two of them were gangsters and hustlers, you know. Well, the hustler brother, he he would sell fish, you know. I was selling fish with him. Made pretty good money doing that, you know. Door to door, selling fish door to door. How they used to do it back in the 20s, you know. They used to call out fish man, you know. A whole lot of brothers wouldn't do that. But when my uncle showed me how to do it, I did it. But to make a long story short, what he did was he eventually bought him a building with a store in it. Upstairs was 2 or 3 rooms, you know. So he would take a bum in and get him in and give him a bowl of beans, let him stay for free. And then he put him to work, you know, changing tires. My uncle was the first one in Detroit, or one of the first ones that just would change tires, fix tires, you know. He would fix tires, like he had it hooked up on the side of his store, you know. You had a flat, these brothers would hook it up, you know, change tires. Cause my uncle, he used to go around junking cars, you know. That was one of his hustles too. And he would get the tires off of them, and some of them looked good, you know. He'd do that. That was before the Arabs or the Middle Easterners started doing it, you know, way back a long time ago. So he did that, and he told me, he said, like, these brothers will do anything for me, you know, because they think he giving them something, but he ain't giving them nothing, you know, because they working hard for a bowl of beans, you know, and a place to live. And you know, if you think about it, you don't own nothing. You buy you a house, you don't really own it because you got to pay property taxes on it, you know. And you think property taxes is legitimate. You think it came with the Constitution because y'all don't read the Constitution. And if you do read it, you let him interpret it to you how to read it. Tell you, no, this is what this really says, just like he does the Bible. He tell you how it reads, you know. Just like you could be watching a presidential debate on TV and listen to the president say something and his opponent say something, or whoever, and after it's over with, they'll tell you what he said. They way. They'll interpret it for you. You just sit up there and heard him talk, and they'll put a little spin on it and make you think that you didn't hear what you heard. You know. So you know they got us, man. I put myself in it because I was, you know, infatuated with some of this stuff until I broke out of it, you know. Even though I had the teachings up under my belt, I still was fascinated with all this new technology and whatever. But look, man, that fiat dollar and all this materialistic stuff you think, you know, it's a big thing, but it ain't. It's not really nothing compared to what you naturally have in you. They've been telling you that the brain, we only use 10% of our brain. You see them, they have movies about uh, uh, psychics, you know, that could, they always have movies about psychics, you know, or people that can read your thoughts, you know. Now, it must be some truth to that because they base all their movies around truth, you know. Then they take from that little bit of truth and then lie about the rest, you know. But it's some truth into what you can do with your mind. You hear them talk about that they had out of body experiences. You know, they came out of body. You know, so you got to have a knowledge, a basic scientific knowledge about atoms and whatever, what they are and what they do. Now, once you know that an atom is powerful, because they can make bombs out of it that could blow up the whole planet, then you realize that, well, I got atoms in me. I'm made up of atoms, right? So now if you're made up of atoms, you know, so you got bombs in you. Then you find out that you got really actually fire in you. Like the sun. You know, once you start studying yourself and studying things around you, you start finding out that you got power within you. So money, material, you the one that made money. You know, it comes from you. And so like James Brown said, you know, it's a man's world. You know, and but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl, you know. Because it wouldn't be nothing for real, because if we ain't got that woman, we wouldn't even be here. We come through the woman. So that fiat dollar, now where does Shia law comes into that? Now this is even in the Bible about usury, and this is why such a much talk about Islam today and Muslims. Them pale Arabs, you know, they've been bought out. Else they wouldn't be over here. If they had Islam and Islam they was using it correctly, they wouldn't have to come over here. They would stay over there with all the oil and stuff like that. Why they over here? You know? Because they hypocrites. They turn hypocrites overnight. They feel like they can make y'all slaves. And a whole lot of brothers done peeped this, you know, but they put a bad rap on Islam. Well, the slave master wanted you to think that. So he hired a few Judases. Because see, Jesus was, the one they called Jesus was teaching Islam. You know, Moses was teaching Islam. All them prophets was teaching Islam. They might not have called it Islam. You know, Islam is the modern day form. But it was called Mayat. You know, and so we about ready to conclude this. You know, I hope y'all picking on what I'm saying. Like, they weaponized that dollar, fiat dollar. They took away the gold, because in the Constitution it's a law against the Federal Reserve doing what they do. The Constitution is supposed to be the supreme law of the land. Even if though we wasn't in on the Constitution when it was written, but they want to make it seem like that we was now, you know. So we got to study this right now, you know. I'm gonna come back in the next video, then we're gonna probably move on to something else. It's Black Light Out.